Okay, we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulty. We are ready to go live now. And actually, we're done with the presentation part. So sorry about whoever we lost. If you want to say hi again and you made it back here, we'll get started. Again, I apologize for that. So I'm Mallory with Healthy Harvest. This is my mom.
Hello.
And I'm going to kind of be teaching her how to use fresh winter squash. She's going to be assisting me a little as well. So we are going to get started. I warmed my pumpkin up a little bit to help make easier cutting. I don't want to say that cutting squash is easy. I will never say that, but I do want to say that you can do it and it's worth it. And a few safety tips before we get started. Underneath my cutting board, I'm going to get my towel wet to put underneath to prevent any slipping at all. Lift that up a little bit. It's really heavy. And also it's important to have a really sharp knife, large chef's knife. So the first thing we're going to do to get started, there are two ways that you can cut a pumpkin. So you can cut the top off like this and then set it down and cut it through its axis. I don't like to do it like that because you lose a lot of the flesh. You know, when you have a small pumpkin, you want to keep as much as possible. The other way to do it, I'm going to make this look really difficult, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is cut it here and all the way around. You cannot cut through the stem, it's impossible. And then I'll flip it over and kind of open it this way and just crack it open the rest of the way. So, and this is also easier for someone who's not 5 foot tall, who actually has a little bit more leverage. So if you're taller than me, it'll be even easier for you.
So I won't be doing this part. Standing back.
Always try to keep your other hand out of the way, you know, in case there are slips. But yeah, once you kind of get into the middle, it gets a lot easier. Cut straight down. And, you know, don't force it. Let the knife do the work. So I'm going to kind of keep going. And that's a really satisfying crunch when you get through the bottom. Keep working this way. And another disclaimer, I am just a home chef. I am not a classically trained chef. There may be some chefs watching that you might be rolling your eyes a little, but this is how home chefs do it. Okay, so once I feel like I'm getting close, you can kind of see how it's splitting open. Set your knife aside, kind of stand it up, and crack. Woo! So that's super fun, actually. And then that way, you know, you don't have to cut off this whole stem and lose a lot of that meat. You'll notice these pie pumpkins have a ton of meat on them, as opposed to when you're cutting a jack-o'-lantern, they're a lot thinner. But these are really meaty and delicious and sweet. So then I start off with a spoon to get these seeds out, and the pith, which is just the stringy stuff. They're a lot less stringy than a jack pumpkin. I just start with a spoon and usually just end up digging it out with my fingers. So,
You want me to spoon to the other one?
sure.
I'll try.
Now we've got a lot more pith in it.
I might be better at just using my hands.
Yeah, that's what I usually do when I get to the bottoms. This kind of pithy stuff, just kind of snag it out. And you can kind of start to separate the seeds and the pith if you want to cook up the seeds. But oftentimes we'll just throw all of it into a colander, run it under some water, shake it around a little bit to kind of clean it.
Do you use these seeds to roast?
Usually, most of the
pumpkin
time.
seeds?
Yeah. Right now I'm kind of burnt out on them, so they're a nice snack for our chickens. But they are one of my favorite snacks, especially if you're thinking of doing a soup. To reserve the seeds on the side, just sprinkle over the top of your soup at the end. It's so good. Like a creamy soup really needs the crunch.
You roast them first and then sprinkle them over. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of salt, right?
Well, yeah. So I'm just gonna put them into this colander. I already have some seeds in here from earlier.
Oh, you might have to clean up after me.
This isn't the cleanest.
I mean this.
Oh.
Mine doesn't look as good as yours now.
Practice, practice. But yours did have a lot more pith on that side.
Oh, that's true. We'll go with that.
Yeah, once you get all that pith and the seeds in there, run it under some cold water. Kind of, what's this called? Like a washer does. Agitate.
Yeah, there we go. I was thinking
Like agitate it, and then the goopy stuff will kind of split from the seeds.
I guess that would be good. I have to put the goopy in there. We're going to separate it. Okay, you want to finish? Or is that good?
Looks great.
Is it? All right.
Okay, so we got two halves, hollowed out, ready to go. And next we just put a little bit of olive oil. We'll brush it with olive oil. The recipe says a tablespoon. I usually just kind of eyeball it. Just kind of
The whole thing or just the edge?
Kind of drizzle a little, just kind of across.
Okay. Dump it on. Whoops.
And yeah, it's fine if it gets down there too. Brush it all around on the inside. The spots that are going to be touching the pan are the most important, but you get a nice roast on the inside too.
Okay.
Looks good.
Okay.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. So, pretty easy, huh?
Yep.
So they have to go cut sides down in a preheated oven, about 40 minutes or so. You can't really overcook it, which is great if you forget to set a timer.
If she takes after me.
Open that up for me. So you can't really overcook it, but you can't undercook it. The longer you cook it, the easier it's going to be to get the skin off too. We did roast some up beforehand, so I can show you the rest of the steps now. You may have noticed behind me too, I have a variety of winter squash that I picked up locally or from my garden. So I will probably be showing how to cut a butternut after this. If anyone has any specific requests, I also have delicata, honey nut, buttercup, acorn, and carnival. And carnival is basically the same as an acorn, but I can kind of go over those too briefly. But if anyone has any specific questions, let us know. So this roasted for about 40 minutes. And
Can I try that one?
yeah.
Okay.
So one way to do it is to, if it has roasted long enough, it will just kind of peel off after it's been cooled for a while.
Oh, way easy. Katie said she loves roasted pumpkin seeds on soup as well. I'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah, it's so good.
The first time somebody put them on my salad, I thought they were crazy. No, that was sunflower seeds, sorry. But I love the extra crunch, so I wonder if pumpkin seeds would be good on salads too.
Thank you. I just like to eat them as a snack too.
Oh yeah.
So this one's skin came off pretty good. Some other squash won't come off so well, and you'll just kind of treat it like a bowl. Pretend the skin is still on, and then you would just scrape it out. If the skin doesn't come off nicely, it will scoop out nicely. Put it into a bowl.
Hi, Tasha. I got the stubborn one. Oh, there. Aha. Just had to get it in the right spot. Okay. Easy peasy.
Alright, so you can to mash it, you can do a good old-fashioned potato masher. You can use a blender or a food processor.
Usually get one whole pumpkin in.
This is a bit much.
Okay.
This is pretty big. This is big for a pie pumpkin, but I think it'll be okay. Alright. This will go for about 2 minutes. If you need to push it back down with a spoon, do that as needed. What's really nice about winter squash when you buy it locally and seasonally is that it's still got a lot of moisture, and it blends up really nicely. Once we start getting into January, February, when they start getting a little older, they do start getting a little harder to cut and harder to work with. But right now they're just prime and just perfect.
Your chickens eat the skins now?
We'll find out. I see one of our chickens up on the road right now, actually.
Uh-oh. Did you guys hear the chicken or the rooster earlier when we first started? The dog barking and the rooster was going.
I don't hear it anymore.
Katie, do you recognize this? I heard you made it.
Jen knew that.
Oh, Jen made this one? Sorry.
She recognizes it.
Okay.
I'm getting close. Is there any other squash that you think look interesting?
They all look very interesting.
They are.
I mean, what are the different flavors? Are there any that are sweeter than others, or?
Good question. I'll go with that.
What's that? Those would be the ones I would like, the ones that are sweet.
Honey nut. What is it? Honey nut?
sounds good. It's looking good.
All right, so we have some, you can make it really creamy if you want. It's got a little bit of chunk to it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, so this is perfect for what I need. I like to store them in mason jars or in just a glass Tupperware. This will keep in the refrigerator for about a week, or you can freeze it for up to 3 months. Again, pumpkin spice latte in the morning. Homemade, can't beat it.
What's your recipe for that?
I actually haven't posted the PSL recipe yet on the Facebook page, but or on our website, but I'm going to be doing that after today's demo.
So do you ever add any flavoring to that before you store it, or do you add that as you're using it?
I personally don't, because I usually don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to do like batch cooking, so like on Sundays I'll do huge batches of what I have on hand and then figure out what I'm going to be cooking the rest of the week. But if you do, like I said, if you do know that you're going to be using it for something savory, you can sprinkle it with cinnamon before it goes in the oven.
Or like if you're going to use it just for pumpkin spice lattes, then sweeten it first and then
Sure, why not? Yeah.
and then okay.
Yeah, I do tend to add a lot of cinnamon to my pumpkin spice lattes, like
Yeah.
probably too much, but so that might be another good way to get that flavor in there that I really like.
And then it'd be really absorbed in there too. Just a thought.
Yeah. So I do want to go over some of these other squash, just kind of briefly. I can cut any or just kind of show you how. What they are. I'm going to bring them over to me one by one, so I'm not showing my butt to the camera too much. Here's a few of our favorites. Spaghetti squash is amazing. Many of you know you can shred it and it looks just like spaghetti and acts a lot like spaghetti too. And
So do you use it like pasta?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We have a really nice recipe up for a spaghetti baked casserole that has like mozzarella and basil and feta and olives and stuff on it. That's like a one pot casserole, a one pan, and
And then it uses that as the base.
Yep.
Okay.
This and tomatoes. So it's like,
What is that?
So this is a delicata squash. I've learned that people in North Iowa love delicata, and I've only known about delicata for a couple of years, so it's really exciting. So delicata is awesome because the skin is incredibly thin, so you don't have to peel it.
You can eat it?
Yeah, it's we make like fries out of it. It's a lot like a potato, but a little bit sweeter. And if you get a really nice crisp on them, gosh, dare I say, better than French fries. I know.
So you've known about this
big.
squash for how long?
Just a couple years, yeah.
I've known about it for 30 seconds.
So this is also one that's new to me. I picked this up at the Charles City Farmers Market on Saturday. This is a honey nut. This is the sweetest squash I've ever tasted. I used it to make muffins. Sunday, they're gone already. It's so good. It's not, it's a smaller squash, so you need a few more of them to get your money's worth. But this one, you can cut, since it's so small, I'll kind of go over. Okay, so like different shapes of squash. When they're like kind of flat like this, you can cut them around like their equator, so that you distribute the meat of it really well before you place it down onto the roasting pan. If you have a taller, this is a very extreme example, but if you have like a tall butternut, so this one I would cut in half first, but then also this way to distribute its flesh as well. This one, straight up and down, I'd cut it this way. So, okay, this is a Buttercup. This one's also incredibly sweet, delicious. Everyone knows their butternut. I make butternut soup quite often. One of my favorite soups ever. Here's an acorn squash that my child pulled the stem off of, so I need to use it really soon. Because they don't store as well when they don't have their stems. But he played this whole game where he pulled off most of them from my 30 or so acorn squash from the garden. So we're gonna be eating a lot of acorn squash. So this one, I found this at Rife's in Floyd. It was new to me too. It looks like camo kind of, but it's a form of acorn squash. I think it's mixed with sweet dumpling or bread with sweet dumpling, which I actually don't know what that is, but from my research, so I'm excited to use this one too, or it's just incredibly beautiful to use as decor.
Yes.
So with the exception of the delicata, all of these will last for months in a dark, cool place. I just keep them in a little potato bin where you can keep them in a dark pantry. Delicata goes a little bit faster. Still 4 to 6 weeks at room temperature or in a cool, dark place. So it still lasts incredibly long, like a potato. It's like a potato, like a sweet potato.
A sweet potato. Yeah, that's kind of when you were describing it. It reminded me of a sweet potato, maybe.
Right, but it's so good. Okay, I think that's all the squash I've got. Do we have any questions about any of these squash in particular, or recipes, or anything anyone wants to share about what they've been doing in their kitchens with local food? A couple more minutes for questions if you have any. In the meantime, I do want to say this is the last workshop that I have scheduled for this year. Because we need feedback, we need ideas, we need to know what you guys want to learn, and when is a good time for you. I know that 5 o'clock is not ideal for many of us with dinner and kids and all that, but we really want to kind of figure out how we can best serve you and to serve our community and your needs. If we have any producers watching, if you have bumper crops of things that you just can't seem to sell, or that you really like to grow and want an excuse to grow more of, or want your customers to know how to cook, let me know. We're also kind of throwing around an idea of doing kind of like private events where maybe you and 5 of your friends can kind of have a little private session with me with some local foods. Might be something fun, kind of get a bottle of wine and unwind with some friends in this crazy time where we're all lacking connection.
Would that be something that would be done on Zoom or in person? Or
would probably be in Zoom for now, right? We still have we can't wait to do these in-person workshops, but we have no plans right now. We still don't feel comfortable doing that just yet, but hopefully next year we'll be doing things like hosting events at apple orchards or in your kitchen, or wherever we can all get together. And this would obviously be a lot more fun if you could really touch these and feel these and cut them and we could all learn together.
Can we make pumpkin wine? We can make pumpkin spice lattes. I wonder if we could do a pumpkin wine.
Or you just put some put some liquor in. I don't know.
Yeah.
What would taste good in a pumpkin spice
We'll
latte?
experiment.
Yeah, we'll answer that question. But yeah, so I want to thank my mom for joining me. I was really nervous about this Facebook Live. I haven't done one this extensive. So she's kind of the queen of Facebook Live.
And she's the queen of the kitchen. She did not learn any of this from me. I will tell you that right now. I don't know where she gets it from.
About a decade of practice and learning and research. But anyhow, so If you have questions afterwards, anyone who's watching this afterwards and comments, I will try to get to those comments as well later. If you come across any problems or snags or questions, just let me know.
Mackenzie says she's had pumpkin wine before.
I've never had that.
Me
So thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm hoping we'll be back next month, but I don't know what we're doing yet. Send me your ideas.
Is there a poll?
No, it got deleted because I messed up the...
You could do another poll. I'm going to do a poll after this on the page. I don't know. Maybe.
I could figure that out. She's more tech savvy than I am. She is. Anyhow, okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.